I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome everyone here today to the 2015 Community Foundation Annual Meeting. My name is Erica Joseph, and I'm the president here at the Community Foundation. And over the past year, I've had the opportunity to see this foundation through a wonderful new lens. And I have to say that this is probably the most amazing lens that I've had this year. You all are a fabulous crowd, and we really appreciate your time to celebrate with us here today. I welcome you on behalf of our board of directors. Many are here and will be introduced later in the program, but I want to thank them for their participation today, but for also sharing their time, their energy, and their expertise throughout the year in so many ways. Today, we have the honor, in light of the fact that next week is Veterans Day, of being joined by one of America's veterans and a dear friend of this community foundation, Major General USA retired Anthony Sarbanes, who's going to lead us in the pledge. We are then going to welcome Reverend Dr. Sally Dolch from Salem United Methodist Church in Pocomoke, and she's going to provide today's invocation. So please rise and remain standing.
If you're a veteran, you can salute, or you can put your hand over your heart. That's your choice. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. We're going to pray that the Lord is with us throughout this event, and I invite you to adopt an attitude of prayer as we rest in the presence of our Creator and enter into fellowship together. Most loving God, with gratitude and deference, we earnestly seek your presence. Bless this gathering and all who are present. We recognize your hand in the power of community service, the generosity that makes it possible, and the dreams of many brought to life through the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. Today we revel in your care and share in the joy of working together for the greater good of all. We ask now the presence of your Spirit and your blessing on the nourishment of body and soul so graciously offered to us today. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm Melody Nelson. I'm currently serving as your chairman of the board of the foundation, the Community Foundation. And on behalf of the board, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you here today and thank you for being here. This today is our 31st annual meeting. As chairman, the past 2 years have proven to be an honor for me to serve our community, as well as a very humbling experience for me. And I must say that I literally witnessed the hand of God's grace this year on behalf and from my board, as I actually received a great deal of professional advice, unified support, collaboration, and guidance from such a strong, dynamic, committed group of board members. And to all my board members here today, I just have to share a heartfelt thank you for being there for me. And I think each of you know and understand. I appreciate that. At this time, I would like to introduce those members of the Foundation's board. These individuals are responsible for carrying out the mission and the purpose of the foundation, connecting people who care with causes that matter. John Allen, Jim Allman, John Barrett, Todd Burbage, Tom Coates, Jane Corcoran, Charles Gosley, Dr. Carolyn Johnston, Andy Kim, Duke Marshall, Kathleen McLean, Jim Morris, Susan Purnell, Ernie Satchel, Greg Tawes, Don Taylor, Lauren Taylor, Lou Taylor, it's my Taylor group. Jim Thomas, Mike Truitt, David Voris, Gail Widdowson, Stephanie Willie, and Dr. Julius Zant. And please, everyone, let's give them a great round of applause. And again, I thank you. This time last year, a tradition began, and a transition, I should say, began, and the board actually started the calendar year 2015 with a unanimous vote welcoming our new president, Erica Joseph, who has been with the foundation for the past 12 years. Erica, if you'll just take a minute and stand for me to, I would like for everyone to just give Erica a special recognition. Thank you. Erica quickly adjusted to her new role and responsibilities by engaging and expanding her staff while empowering them to collaborate and develop new marketing strategies and procedural efficiencies, while all the while staying focused on our strategic plans and the foundation's mission. It has truly been a pleasure this year, Erica, working with you and your staff. And on behalf of the board, we would like to personally thank each of the staff members for their dedication and commitment while serving our community at the foundation. Allow me to share a quote. Work for a cause, not for applause. Live life to express, not to impress. Don't strive to make your presence noticed, just make your absence felt. You know, this reminds me of our dear friend and colleague, Gladys Gosley, who shared a passion along with her husband, Charles, for the youth in our communities. A tribute to Gladys Gosley this year, the Foundation's Community Initiative Committee actually shared a special focus this year on youth and education through their grant-making efforts, and they named it the Gladys Gosley Initiative. With an initial budget of $45,000, the committee shared a plea with the community for matching funds. And this was all in honor and to support our dear Gladys Gosley. In total, the foundation actually was able to grant $88,000 to 18 different organizations and projects in the community as a result of this effort. Charles Gosley and his two beautiful daughters, Julie and Vonda, who are here with us today, they were so humbly touched and grateful for the outpouring of love and support from the local schools, the community donors, and our board members that made this initiative such a success. And this year, at the awards celebration, Charles actually spoke and shared and asked a question of all of us. He wanted to know if we knew about the Gosley ripple effect. Charles proceeded on to express a story that he was reminded of when a young boy that was walking alongside of a pond actually threw a stone across that pond, which of course created a ripple effect. And those ripples continued to grow and grow, larger and larger. And he wonder how far those ripples will go. Charles felt that the Gladys Gosley Initiative touched lives that he hoped will have an endless ripple effect on others. And Charles also inspired all of us to create our own ripple effect and see just how far those ripples would go. Charles, you and Gladys certainly taught us how to work for a cause and not for applause, and how to live life to express and not to impress. And don't strive to make your presence noticed, just make your absence felt. So I personally want to thank you, Charles, and certainly on behalf of Gladys as well, for your wisdom and generosity while serving the community through our foundation. Thank you. Now it's time to move forward for our actual business meeting. I would like to now call the 31st Annual Business Meeting of the corporate members of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore to order. And please note that we need and required 35 members for a quorum, and today we have 53 in attendance. So we'll first start off with the report of the membership committee. And I would like to introduce Jim Allman. He's our attorney extraordinaire, and he's the membership committee chair, and ask for him to share his report.
Thank you and good afternoon. I'm pleased to introduce the membership committee. The nominating committee, you can keep your seats, but they consisted of Art Cooley, Charles Gosley, Duke Marshall, Melody Nelson, Susan Purnell, and Ray Shockley. So I thank them for their service. We had a very intense negotiation to come up with a slate this year. After hours of consideration and a very close vote, I'd like to move for the renomination of the following directors. Dr. Carolyn Johnston, Kathleen McLean, Ernie Satchel, Lauren Taylor, and Mike Truitt. Is there a motion on the floor there for that? Anybody speaking? There we go. Okay, Jim Thomas, seconded by Stephanie. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Thank you and congratulations to our renominated board members. For the 2016 membership committee, I have the following committee names to present to you. Jim Allman, the chair, Cecilia Dennis, Tom Hershey, Duke Marshall, Susan Purnell, Jeff Turner, and Dr. Julia Sand. Could I have a motion in that regard? David Voorhees, second. Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. And now it's time to move forward for the treasurer's report. I'd like to invite Dave Vorris forward. He's the treasurer of the Community Foundation, and he's going to present the treasurer's report and a review of the fiscal year 2015 audit.
Thank you, Melody, and good afternoon. The TGM Group, LLC, conducted the Foundation's fiscal year 2015 independent audit. As in all prior years, the auditors issued an unqualified audit opinion, which indicates the financial statements fairly reflect the financial position of the Community Foundation. Comprehensive financial statements are available at the Foundation's office or on the Foundation's website at www.cfes.org, an address I'm sure all of you know. Our assets as of June 30 were $104.2 million. The majority of those assets remain invested in a highly diversified portfolio managed by Mason Investment Advisory Services under the supervision of our investment committee chaired by Tom Hershey. Despite volatile market conditions, our portfolio continues to perform very well when compared to other community foundations across the country. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Dave. So at this point for our business meeting, is there any other additional business to come before the foundation at this time? And hearing none, the corporate meeting of the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore is now adjourned. So now we can move on to the good stuff. First, I'd like to point out and address, you all have an annual report at your table. One was placed at every seat. And I'd like to draw attention to the 2015 annual report of the foundation. This year's theme is not a new one. It's actually guided our approach since the founding of the Community Foundation, connecting people who care with causes that matter. I encourage you to read through this report and recognizing that it's just a small glimpse into the impact that you actually have made through the Community Foundation over the past year. And we have extra copies in the event anyone feels like they would like an extra. We, just ask. But we would like for you to enjoy this and perhaps then pass it on and share it with someone you know. Noteworthy in the report, our report to the Community Foundation is always a rewarding opportunity for us to revisit key accomplishments throughout the year and recognize the actual reach of the organization and the strength that comes from those who invest in our community investment assets. We want to take and give particular thanks to those individuals this year who established a new fund, and that actually is noted on page 2. And also a special thank you to those who support the foundation through the annual giving appeal. And that's actually noted on page 4 and 5. And inside of your annual report is an envelope, and that actually is our annual appeal request. And so if any of you feel led to actually donate and support, obviously we're very grateful for that. And in addition, we especially want to thank those who share their time and expertise by volunteering as a community member on one of our many committees, and those are listed on page 4. And last but not least, to note the declared members of the Legacy Society who have actually declared their philanthropic intent to include the Community Foundation in their estate plan. We just thank you all for your continued support. At this time, I want to digress and share a heartfelt support to actually our sponsors. Today, we are truly grateful because of the cost that's involved for the annual meeting and to publish the annual report. We have a group of sponsors that are listed on the back of your program that have actually graciously given monetarily to actually provide the support and underwrite that cost. Mason Investment Advisory Services, PNC Bank, Avery Hall Insurance Company, Bank of Delmarva, Comcast Spotlight, BB&T, First Shore Federal Savings and Loan, Hebron Savings Bank, Marshall's Insurance and Financial Services, Nelson Insurance Agency, Raymond Shockley, Pam and Mackie Stansel. And I would also like to extend a special thank you as well to Jackie Cassidy of Flowers and More for your table centerpieces. And in addition, Walt Warren of Peninsula Printing for donating the programs. And finally, Pack 14 for recording this event. Let's give our sponsors a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to close my remarks with a thought. One seed can start a garden. One smile can lift a spirit. One candle can light up a room. One conversation can start a friendship. One person can make all the difference. That one is you. At this time, I would like to introduce and invite the Foundation's president, Erica Joseph, to the podium to share her president's remarks.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Melody. It has been such a tremendous honor this year to work in partnership with Melody Nelson. I was beyond humbled to be asked to serve in this role for the Community Foundation, and I basically knew that I could say yes because of the team I have at home, which is represented today by my husband Jeremy, the team that we have in the office, which I'll introduce a little while later, and our team on the board, which is led by Melody Nelson, who is just a wonderful, steadfast, and encouraging leader, and we have all been better off because of her involvement with the Community Foundation. Because I always have remarks, I certainly have some prepared that I want to share with you, but I do want to take the opportunity, we had the chance a little earlier this year to ask some of our friends what it means to them to be involved with the Community Foundation, and so I wanted to start with their thoughts.
You know, it's been said that there are three types of people in this world. Those that make things happen, those that watch things happen, and those that wonder what happened. Through the Community Foundation, we are the group that makes things happen with the community. I think that's special.
The Community Foundation is a local partner to help connect individuals, families, businesses, and civic groups to all the causes that are close to their heart.
The biggest benefit that I have found working with the Community Foundation is understanding the needs within our communities.
The Community Foundation is a very simple way for individuals to connect with charities that are important to them.
As the Executive Director of the Art League of Ocean City, I feel it's extremely important to have community partners and advocates, and the Community Foundation has been both to us.
So the Child and Family Foundation started the program called 1 Year to Empowerment. And through grants from the Community Foundation, we were able to secure nonprofit status. We've been able to get community support to start the program, and now we're to the point where the grant money is helping us to grow and expand into other counties.
Community Foundation gives us strength. The Friends of Teakle Mansion was formed in 1996, and we are committed to restoring this mansion to its original grandeur in 1820. Community Foundation is there for us.
The Community Foundation, more than anything else, connects people who want to help with those that need help at a desperate time in their lives, perhaps, where they can be lifted up and maybe given hope. And I think of the organizations like Diaconia in Worcester County that certainly provide housing and food and help for people that are really down and out.
Philanthropy is for everyone. Sharing your time, your talents, and your financial resources truly does make this place, the Lower Eastern Shore, a better place to live.
Whether you're a member of a board of a nonprofit organization, or a staff member, or just a member of the community looking to give back, the Community Foundation can help you reach your goals.
One thing that many people don't know is we have field of interest funds, where if you don't have a particular organization that you want to help, you can give to a broad range. For instance, any organization in Worcester County, or Wacomico County, or Somerset County, or you could pick a specific like arts or education.
When you contribute assets or funds to the Community Foundation, you can be very confident that those assets are being prudently managed, invested very wisely, and they're going to create the best opportunity possible to meet the long-term goals of charities that are really important to you.
No matter your passion, you can have a lasting impact and make a difference through your Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore. So thank you so much to the people who participated in that. I know for those of us involved in the production, it was a tad unnerving, because one of the things we wanted to do was, with the exception of myself, who needs to be heavily scripted because I've never met a tangent I didn't like, those folks just spoke. And I was blown away, not because I didn't know how much the foundation was part of their life, but just what tremendous ambassadors they were, and all of you are, in the community as we reach out to find partnerships and connections to make a difference for the Lower Eastern Shore. We are tremendously grateful to those individuals that participated, and for the creative vision and expertise shared with us by Sarah Nelson, who's here today, and Constant Movement Cinema. Thank you so much, Sarah, for all that you did to support us. Our mission at the Community Foundation is to promote philanthropy. And for a lot of people, when you think of the word philanthropist, you think of Bill Gates, Melinda Gates, Andrew Carnegie, these great, big, enormous people who do wonderful things, but at a very large scale. But by definition, a philanthropist really is someone who makes a gift or does an act of kindness for the benefit of others. And so by that definition, I know that each person here today with us is truly a philanthropist. Giving is not about the amount, it is about sharing what you have. And so often here at the foundation, because we are tremendously proud of the impact that this organization has had in our success, we talk about the millions that we've distributed, or the millions that are invested, or the thousands of lives benefited. But we know that that's only possible because of the collective effect of many, often very modest contributions. I don't know if you know this, but last year, 70% of the gifts that we received at the Community Foundation were less than $500, and 30% were less than $100. Our strength and impact comes from you, this community, donors, volunteers, nonprofits, businesses, civic organizations, and all those who invest their time and resources in making life better for others and for our community as a whole. Melody mentioned that there's an annual appeal envelope in our report this year. We encourage you to give to the Community Foundation, to other charities in the community, because we know that the Lower Eastern Shore is a better place because people give of their time, their talents, and their financial resources. In this video, it was mentioned that one of our key strengths is the way that we help to connect people who want to help with those who need help. That makes me tremendously proud, and I hope the outcomes make you proud. Last year, funds at the Community Foundation distributed $5 million to more than 500 different charitable organizations. And not only are you a giving community, but your passions are diverse. Youth, health, animal welfare, the arts, historic preservation, human services. You and this foundation support it all, and thank you. It has been said that what cannot be achieved in one lifetime will happen when one lifetime is joined to the next. And we see that all the time at your Community Foundation. You will note in our annual report that we've listed each of our funds, nearly 625, as well as the members of our Legacy Society, those who contributed this year to community needs funds or created new funds as part of the Endow Maryland Tax Credit Program. These are the kinds of tools that we use to help connect one lifetime to the next. For example, our Legacy Society members, through their will or their estate plan, create funds or contribute to existing funds that support the causes that they've cared about throughout their lifetime. And we can all do this. It's actually one of the easiest gifts to give because you don't need that gift anymore. When I joined this organization 12 years ago, one of the first programs I was fortunate to work on was made possible by the generosity of Community Foundation founder Sam Seidel and his wife Lynn. The Reading Forever Fund provides support each year to public and private schools in Wicomico County to purchase library books. It was started with just $5,300 in 1991. To date, this fund, the Reading Forever Fund, has contributed $123,000 to local schools for library books. And when Sam and Lynn started it, they asked their friends to contribute. They asked their colleagues. They also asked that each school receiving a grant give 10 cents per student, a creative and inclusive approach designed to bring others into their charitable goal. Our community lost Lynn earlier this year, and her husband Sam too many years before that. But as you can read on page 19 of this annual report, they were dedicated to this area, creating 14 different endowment funds at the Community Foundation, and giving generously to numerous other organizations throughout their life. Because of their commitment, vision, and creativity, their funds have contributed more than $700,000 to this community. Some of those started with as little as $6,000. Theirs is an amazing story, but there are literally hundreds, if not thousands more. Earlier this year, BJ and I had the privilege to join the Quota Club for their 80th anniversary celebration. I know Margaret Toadvin and Emily Salisbury are here today. Ladies, are you? There they are, right here in the back. We're really proud at the Community Foundation that our Women's Fund is celebrating their 5th anniversary next June. But let me tell you a little bit about the Quota Club. For 80 years, the women of the Quota Club have been supporting charitable organizations serving women and children in our community. Some of their members have been involved for more than 50 years. They provide financial and in-kind support to more than 20 different local nonprofits. And they created an endowment fund at the Community Foundation to ensure that their efforts will continue in perpetuity. I know that all of us that are members of the Women's Fund can look to them and see one of the true inspirations as the original Women's Fund. The estate of John and Hannah Handy from Somerset County created a Crisfield Improvement Fund. They support projects that increase the quality of life for residents of the Crisfield community. They also created a scholarship fund for graduates of Crisfield High School. Ray Shockley, Pam and Mackie Stanzel, and Jack and Ann Calloway joined together to support an organization that they all supported individually, Diakonia, and created an endowment fund. I could go on, and you may feel like I already have, but these are examples of the lifetimes that are joined together, one to the next, through philanthropy. And we are honored to be able to help facilitate this connection at the Community Foundation. Now, I would be greatly remiss if I did not introduce the staff. Sharon Dixon is our Finance Director. Heather Mailer, our Program Director. David Plotz, Controller. BJ Summers, Director of Development and Donor Relations. Pat Strasberg, our Office Administrator. Heather Trader, our Donor Relations Officer. And G. Williams, our Marketing Director. You'd be interested to know that as young as we all are, this team has collectively contributed more than 67 years to the Community Foundation. And there are only 8 of us. We are small but mighty. And as one of our board members said at our retreat earlier this year, we are a lean, mean grant-making machine. But it's not just about the grant-making. It's about the engagement. And our staff thrives on the connections that we make through efforts like Project Living Well to promote community health in partnership with MAC and other healthcare organizations, or the Lower Shore Veterans Network, or our Professional Advisors Council, as well as our personal involvement in community and civic organizations. These relationships that our staff have with friends and neighbors, they inspire us every single day. During this year of transition, I want to thank each and every staff member for their commitment, their expertise, their comic relief when we needed it, and passion for this community and our family at the office. A special thanks goes to Ann Schoolcraft, who's not here today because she relocated earlier this fall to Arizona, which it kind of feels like Arizona outside today, for her efforts in planning this meeting and in the production of the annual report. The staff at the foundation embodies the phrase that if you can laugh together, you can work together. And I'm truly grateful to have such a wonderful staff to depend on. We are also fortunate to have a great network of other experts, specifically Suzanne Zilberfarb and Debbie Russ and Mick Hensler, who always help us when we need it by providing their expertise and guidance. Thank you to them. And our sincere appreciation to PAC 14 for their support throughout the year on our Community Foundation Spotlight program and for taping today's meeting so that you can all enjoy this again. And now what I know everyone looks forward to, the annual awards. I'd like to start with a special thanks to Senator Mathias and to Donna Hoy for the proclamations presented to each award recipient. And while I'm recognizing elected officials, I'd like to ask that any elected officials in the room today please rise so that we can thank you for your work on behalf of the constituents that you serve. Thank you to all of you. And now I'd like to introduce Melody Nelson, who all of you know as our tremendous board chair for another month and a half or so, to present this year's Chairman's Award and the Mary Gladys Jones Volunteer of the Year Award.
Thank you, Erica. I have looked forward to this opportunity almost all year in respect to presenting the Chairman's Award. Each year, the chairman of the board has the privilege of honoring one individual for outstanding service to the Community Foundation. This year's recipient has served on the Community Foundation board since 2010 and has agreed to fulfill a 12-year term. Every board member brings a unique perspective, approach, and set of skills to our foundation, and this individual is no exception. Paramount among his many qualities is his willingness to say yes. In the past year, we have benefited from his thoughtful nature, his dedication of time and talent, and his unique professional expertise. During his tenure as a board member, he has demonstrated his interest and commitment in working with this organization, serving on 6 different committees over the past 5 years, including leadership roles on half of them. He has served on the Community Needs Grants Committee, the Audit Committee, Scholarship Committee, the Bylaws Review Committee, chairing since 2013, the Asset Development and Marketing Committee, serving as chair since 2012, the Executive Committee from 2012, and is currently serving as our treasurer since 2013. And we are truly fortunate that this particular board member is not near retirement at all yet. So, with my sincere gratitude, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to present the 2015 Chairman's Award to David Voris. Dave, I realize this doesn't even begin to pay for all the legal advice that you so freely gave us over the last 5 years. But please accept this as a token of our sincere appreciation for your dedication and support during that time. Thank you, Dave. Dave is a hard worker, and we are blessed to have him on our board. So I actually drew 2 lucky straws today. I actually get the pleasure now to present, present the Mary Gladys Jones Volunteer of the Year Award. The purpose of this award is to honor the sacrifice, commitment, and value of volunteers. Anyone employed by a nonprofit organization knows that without the support of volunteers, we could not do our work. The Volunteer of the Year Award was actually created to recognize the sustained and unselfish contributions of volunteers in our community, whether it's delivering a meal to a shut-in, mentoring a child, caring for a senior citizen in need. Thousands of volunteers go above and beyond each and every day. In presenting this award, we are honoring not only the recipient today, but all the volunteers that share the spirit of volunteerism throughout our communities. In addition to the Volunteer of the Year Award, The honoree will receive $1,000 for the charity of their choice. So this year's Volunteer of the Year has served the individuals and families that come to the emergency pantry at the Seton Center 2 days a week for the past 16 years. She welcomes, gathers the required documents, and distributes food to families in need. She treats every client with dignity and respect and a true understanding of the struggles that many of them face. Her optimism and sense of humor are a valuable asset to both the clients and the staff. This volunteer advocates on Seton Center's behalf, often serving as a voice for ongoing needs to replenish their food supply and inventory. Tireless in her efforts to make people aware of the needs within the community, she is an advocate for those who have no voice. Advocate, supporter, cheerleader, seasoned volunteer, an instrumental champion for people. A genuine friend to the Catholic Charities Seton Center, as well as a true friend to many of us. It is my pleasure to announce Barbara Whitehead as this year's 2000 Mary Gladys Jones Volunteer of the Year. Unfortunately, Barbara could not be with us today as she is doing volunteer service that she loves the most, which is spending time caring for her grandchildren in Atlanta. However, we have asked her husband, Dr. George Whitehead, who will accept the award on her behalf. And Barbara recently shared with me that one of the Seton Center clients expressed to her who she was helping, said, "You know, I renew my faith in mankind when there are people like you in our community." Thank you. And by all means, share your comments. Yes.
Barbara is being a grandmother, and we did surprise her a couple of weeks ago. She was down at the Seton Center, and the prize patrol showed up, and she had no idea that it was going to happen. The thing is, though, that was a couple of weeks ago, so she had a couple of remarks that she would like me to make, so I will be happy to do that on her behalf. She'd like to thank the foundation for this honor, and she can remember being at a meeting 30 years ago with local nonprofits, Ginny Corr, Frank Morris, and Bob Cook. They told us of a new endeavor called the Community Foundation that would provide additional funding for our agencies, as well as establishing an endowment that would provide for us forever. They had $11,000 in the bank, and they looked at where they are now, and we heard that report earlier. Volunteerism is not innate, but is taught, and I thank my parents for that. While in college, I met a young man, guess who that was, who shared those beliefs. In the past 44 years, we have both together and individually tried to make our community better for all who live there. I know I would not be receiving this award if it were not the sisters and staff of the Seton Center. When I retired 15 years ago, I always knew there is where I wanted to spend my time. Every day, the sisters inspire all of us to treat those who come with respect, kindness, and to do our best to help them with their needs. I look forward to many more years of volunteering with them, and Barbara, thanks you very much.
We had a lot of fun on our prize patrol, and for one, I think it's pretty hard to do, but I think we did surprise Barbara Whitehead. It's now my pleasure to introduce Jim Almond, who's going to present the Richard A. Henson Award for Nonprofit Excellence this year. Jim's a board member, chair of our membership committee, a Legacy Society member, and past recipient himself of the Foundation's Chairman's Award. Thank you, Jim.
On my way up here, Marty Neat reminded me that he's up next and asked me to be quick, but I think this award deserves a little time. Marty will have his chance after I get through. The Nonprofit Award of Excellence was established in 1989 to honor Richard A. Hinson for his generous contributions to our community. The award sets a high standard for nonprofit organizations serving Worcester, Wacomico, Somerset County. The organization that's selected to receive this award must make an outstanding contribution to the well-being of residents of the Lower Eastern Shore by responding to a significant community need, showing ingenuity and innovation in utilizing resources, and demonstrating excellence in board leadership. The list of past honorees is impressive. For instance, Coastal Hospice and Magi Fund, two recent recipients. In addition to being honored by the Community Foundation, there's a $5,000 check that goes to the organization. This year's recipient has served the community continuously for 50 years. Its mission is to promote the visual arts through education, exhibits, scholarships, programs, and community art events. Since March of 2013, this organization has welcomed over 50,000 visitors to its beautiful new facility. Admission is free and programming is offered for people of all ages. This organization has filled a cultural void in the community in which it is located and has provided a place to gather to learn, create, and enjoy the company of people with similar interests. It has enhanced the image of the community as a place that provides cultural experiences for everyone. It has created a destination for the arts, where people can view original artwork and share in fellowship with others. It recognizes the proven statistics that children who participate in the arts gain strengths of character, academic achievement, critical thinking, improved school attendance, good behavior, inclusion, and a sense of well-being. It does this by creating programs for youth. Its community outreach programs provide free art instruction for children with limited resources. It provides free painting or pottery classes for up to 40 children 4 times a year. Those kids would not have had a chance to do it but for this organization. This organization has taken a leadership role by partnering with other organizations. For instance, it has what it calls Art with a Heart. Through its Empty Bowl program, it partnered with the local transitional housing and homeless shelter to raise awareness about hunger and to raise funds for its food pantry. It has partnered with a local hospital to offer an Alzheimer's and aging program, which it calls I Remember Better When I Paint. And tonight, there's a reception for its newest art exhibit where it worked with local veterans groups on an exhibit highlighting wounded warriors, and that's from 5 to 7 tonight. Some might believe that an organization whose mission is to promote the arts is irrelevant in this world where there's so much urgent need. However, this organization has shown that art is a powerful way to connect people and community. Through art, lives have been inspired, engaged, enhanced, and literally transformed. An environment has been created where young and old can gather to express themselves. This year's recipient of the Nonprofit Award for Excellence continues to demonstrate Mr. Hinson's deep commitment to improving lives of the community on the Eastern Shore. This year's recipient has established art as an Ocean City attraction almost as popular as the ocean, the boardwalk, and Thrasher's Fries. I would ask you to join me in congratulating the recipient of this award this year, the Art League of Ocean City. And Rena, if you would, Rena, why don't you bring all your folks up if you like.
To us, this is the Academy Awards, so I'm bringing up my team here. I wish the prize patrol would have come and visited before I came, so that I could have prepared remarks. But what I have to say is really in my heart when it comes to the Community Foundation, because it is an extreme honor for us, for myself, for the members of our board, for everybody involved in the Art League to be recognized with this award. But the Community Foundation has played such a big role in the success of our organization. When we were sitting around trying to figure out how we were going to get a building, the Community Foundation was there for us in its training programs. I can't even tell you how many times I've been and other board members have been to the nonprofit training programs there. Spicer Bell, past president, has been a mentor to all of us in building our board excellence, in introducing us to Maryland nonprofits so that we can adhere to its standards and organizational excellence. When we got the funds to create the building, we started a capital campaign account at the Community Foundation to encourage people to give to our cause because of the confidence that they have in the Community Foundation. The grants that have been made available to us, that first they taught us how to write the grants, then made the fundings available, and as Jim mentioned, the exhibit tonight, which is USMC Joe Merritt, it's called The Things I Carry, very, very powerful show about how art can save veterans and dealing with PTSD. All possible because of the Community Foundation. The support that BJ and Erica has given to us in creating our own endowment funds and how to invest our money. And then looking around the room at all the partners that we've worked with. I see Marty Need right in the front, sponsor of the Empty Bowl project, and we're getting ready to start it again. The other organizations that are here that we've joined together with, and a lot of the other executive directors that I've met at the Community Foundation and then decided to partner together to do events. Erica mentioned that your theme was about connecting causes and people. Our theme this year at the Art League was Art Matters, and through the programming that we've had there at the building, through the results that we've seen and the partnerships that we formed, we have really found ourselves that art truly does matter to a community. And I thank you so much for recognizing that. Thank you.
See, I told you we don't have to script folks. They're fabulous off the cuff. I love to hear that. Last but certainly not least, I want to introduce Marty Neat for the introduction of this year's Frank Morris Humanitarian Award. Marty's a former board member here at the foundation. He's chair of our award committee, a Legacy Society member with his wife Marilyn, and past recipient of this award and the foundation's Chairman's Award. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you, Erica. The Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award was established by the Community Foundation in 1991 to honor Frank Morris's lifelong dedication to the community and the high ethical values and professional standards he exhibited in his personal, professional, and community life. Frank's philanthropic spirit, his integrity, and his compassion for others are values that still enrich our community today. We hold them dear and wish to encourage them in others. To further that effort, the Foundation annually presents this award to an individual who shows the qualities of exemplary leadership, vision, integrity, compassion, cooperation, and generosity of time and talents to our community. The honoree also receives $1,500 for a charity of his or her choice. It was my great privilege to serve on the Foundation's award committee and to introduce this year's recipient of the Frank Morris Humanitarian Award. Our community is blessed with many giving souls, people who make all of us better. Our committee had the privilege of looking at many candidates for the award. To paraphrase the words of the actor Will Smith in one of my favorite shows, Men in Black, we were looking for the best of the best of the best. And you know what? We found him. I would guess that nearly everyone in this room knows this gentleman, an outstanding businessman and community leader. And it's likely that your organization has been helped in a substantive way through his support for many years. A leader in his church, he has held numerous significant positions with his church in Salisbury, supported generously the Methodist District, Peninsula United Methodist Homes, and Wesley Theological Seminary. His involvement in support of youth activities is the stuff of legend. Here's just a small sample of what he's done. A former chairman of the board of the local YMCA, he has helped to raise funds for Junior Achievement, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Salisbury Neighborhood Housing Service, the zoo, and on numerous occasions, the Boy Scouts. Let's look at some of the activities with the Boy Scouts. Local Scout leader, district chairman of the Tri-County District, fundraising chairman, executive board member of the entire Delmarva Council, chairman of the council's site selection committee, and along with his wife, the named contributor for the chapel at the Boy Scouts Henson Reservation Camp. He's been a highly successful businessman, and he has used that success to benefit others. Chairman of SWED, life member of the Greater Salisbury Committee, fundraising committees for Peninsula Regional Medical Center, Atlantic General Hospital, Salisbury School, Warwick Community College, Salisbury University. Again, just a small sample of what he's done. I'm proud to say that he is vice chairman of the board of directors of First Shore Federal, a role which he has held nearly 20 years and one which he has fulfilled with great distinction. And all along, he has been a ringing voice of support for the community activities of our association, a recognition that what is good for the community is good for all of us that live and do business in this community. None of this will come as a surprise to those of us who are supporters of the Community Foundation. If he hadn't done so much for other activities, other groups, his multitude of activities on behalf of the foundation alone would more than earn this award. Indeed, he was one of the founders of the Community Foundation, and I think he's probably more proud of the group here today than he will be of having received this award. But he served on the board from 1984 to 2000 as its board chairman, as well as numerous other leadership positions for the organization. In fact, he's used his business acumen to great service as chairman of the foundation's investment committee for the past 8 years, and as a member of the committee since 1988. He was a leader and generous supporter of the Purdue Kresge campaign, supporting not only the foundation's campaign in Kresge 1, but numerous agency campaigns in the Purdue Kresge effort. And he and his wife Beth are charter members of the Legacy Society, thereby assuring that their philanthropy will continue to benefit our community in perpetuity. You might look at this leader and say, how was he not selected before? Well, the fact is that he's been a member of the Morris Award Committee for many years prior to this year. And as with many other things, Tom Hershey knows that it is better to give than to receive. But let's not say, but that's not to say that our community does not cherish him. Among other recognitions, he's been the recipient of the Boy Scouts Distinguished Eagle Scout Award, its Distinguished Citizen Award, the Silver Beaver Award, the District Award of Merit, the Chairman's Award from the Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, the Salisbury University Purdue Leadership Award, the Rotary Four-Way Test Award, the Salisbury JC's Distinguished Service Award, and now today, the Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor and privilege to present this year's Frank H. Morris Humanitarian Award to our friend, the epitome of a humanitarian and a real community treasure, Tom Hershey.
Well, I'm very humbled by this award, and I would have to share one little thought that rang through the back of my mind when Marty was running through all that stuff. And that Frank and I were very close. And there were times in my life that I really needed a mentor, and Frank was always there for me. And one of the things that he said to me, he said, "You got yourself into this trouble. You got to get yourself out. Nobody's going to help you." So he stood by me and encouraged me. And I just am so thankful for my relationship with Frank over the years and with so many other people in scouting and the community and the hospital and all the other organizations that I've been involved with. So thank you very much.
Congratulations to all the award recipients, highly deserving group of individuals and organizations. Serving in this role for the Community Foundation is an interesting complement to my other full-time gig, which is wife and mom, which is often heavily subsidized by my amazing husband, our moms, and the rest of the Joseph family village. Anyone with children, grandchildren, or kids in their life knows that there's no better check, so to speak, on our behavior than when it's being observed by a youngster. I happen to be a talker, and I get it honest from my mom. One time Andrew asked me why I always talk to people that I don't know. General conversation, compliment, chit-chat when I'm standing in line at the grocery store. And when I thought about it, I realized it's because my mood can completely change if someone offers me a kind gesture or a friendly remark, or unfortunately, the opposite is also true. And even though it's little, those things make a difference. Jane Goodall, the world-renowned chimpanzee expert, once said, and I'm pretty sure there are probably many lessons to be learned from somebody studying chimps when you're raising a spirited 8-year-old, but we can talk about that on another time. But she said, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." Everything we do makes a difference. Every encouraging remark we make to a child, every dollar we drop in the red kettle, every hour we volunteer, every dollar you commit from your paycheck, and every check you write during the giving season. It's what will make your ripple. Thank you again for being here today with us to celebrate a wonderful year. We're going to close today with Reverend Sally Dolch for the benediction, and then immediately premiere, very briefly, our brand new PSA. As soon as that's concluded, this meeting will be adjourned. Thank you very much for your time today.
I have some words that some of you may understand if it's from your native tongue, but words like gracias, danke, merci, and thank you, Lord, for the blessings of this day and the company we have kept. To all who are gathered here, may the grace of God rest in your heart and upon your lives as you leave this gathering this day. Go in peace. Amen.
No matter your passion, you can have a lasting impact through your Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore.